Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm so happy that you're here joining us today. Our show is the United Kingdom News and Culture, and my co-host and dear friend Diann Floyd Boehm is going to share the stage with me as we welcome our guest today. Hi, Diann. How are you?
Hi, it's great to see you. This is exciting to be part of this show. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so exciting to share 3 shows every week with you. And this one is all about collaborations between the United States of America and the United Kingdom. And you know, I are both dressed in our patriotic clothes. Yeah, even have my little star bracelet on. Can you see that?
Oh, I love it.
So, Diann, we have special guests joining us in the latter part of our show, but I'm going to spotlight you before we begin, and I would love for you to just share with our audience a little bit about your background, and then also about the United Kingdom and why it has such a special place in your heart.
Sure, I'll be happy to. I'm so excited to be part of this show and for us to share with our friends in America to learn more about the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom holds a very special place in my heart because my ancestry is from there, number one, and our family's always been very big on family history and to be proud of where we came from. So my ancestry actually comes from the UK. So Ireland, Wales, Scotland, I cover, and of course England, I cover all of it. So, and both Northern and Southern Ireland, depending on the time period. So that's exciting. And my husband also has roots in Ireland and England, and there's a lot of history on both sides of the family. So we like to say that our great how many ever plus grandparents in heaven put us together because they at one time knew each other. Can you imagine that? So the UK, their history, their beauty, their kindness, the things they've done in the world throughout history, and now English is the international language. How can you not love the UK? They're so kind and polite, and I have many friends there.
Thank you, Diann. And we're excited to do this show because, as you know, we have a very large following in the United Kingdom, which is so nice. And
so nice.
I really appreciate everyone who reaches out. We have great guests. We just had Susie Nathanson here today, and she's over in London. She is an artist, London-based artist. So thank you, Susie. And it started actually with Ben Chai, whom I met on Clubhouse, believe it or not. And then from there, it just built and built. So it's really a blessing. And I feel very privileged that so many people over there are enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that you brought up Ben because as you were speaking, I was thinking of him, and we just contacted each other and touched base just the other day, and he's doing something brand new called the Crushing Hour. So we will have to get him on and share because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what he's up to.
That's really cool. And, you know, I'm looking for a picture that I want to share that we showed this on the show earlier today. Susie actually painted this of him dancing, and here it is.
Oh, wow. He's
amazing.
That is gorgeous.
It's digital art.
Wow, really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It is pretty cool. But what a kind heart. And, you know, he's a great connector, but he really represents the UK in so many ways, in a positive way.
Yeah, he definitely does. And, you know, for me, in addition to the wonderful people over there who our fans and support us. I really think that London is such an amazing place. And there's other places in the United Kingdom that I want to travel to. You and I talked about taking a trip together there. You've been a lot more out there than I have been. I spend most of my time behind this green screen.
I've just been blessed because, as you know, my husband's an attorney, and Fulbright and Jaworski merged with Norton Rose, which is one of the oldest law firms in England, and so that has also helped us travel a little bit of England besides our personal travel. So.
Yeah, that's really lovely. And Diann, there's a lot of history and culture there in the United Kingdom as well, and also a fair share of news coming out of there on a regular basis, whether it's the royal family or other stories that are out there. So I'm looking forward to us welcoming Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Chard, who are international broadcasters and photographers and world-renowned journalists. They're going to be joining us with some news at the towards the end of our show today.
I just love them. And on your other show, and Alcini co-starred with you, they were always bringing such fantastic guests and their knowledge, and they're just wonderful people to, I'm sure, I don't know them personally, but I'm sure they're just incredibly people, but the information they provide is phenomenal.
Definitely. And also, Helena has a very big interest in mental health awareness. So I'm sure she'll bring some information about that. So, Diann, one thing here in the States is we have a fascination with the British royal family, and everybody wants to keep up with what they're doing and what's going on. And I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts about this before we get into a specific story that I just wanted to talk a little bit about?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Well, this is just my personal take on it. Of course, I can clearly remember as a young girl, all of us being excited. This new magazine was coming out for young teenagers, and it was going to spotlight the prince. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what does a prince really look like? So it was pretty exciting when we got to see Prince Charles in his swimsuit in the swimming pool. I'm like, that's a real prince. So I hope Prince Charles doesn't remind me, reminding him of that moment. I'm sure he wasn't too excited about it, but us girls over there were really excited. But in honesty, I truly believe that they have the most wonderful queen, and remarkable time that she has reigned. And I personally, along with my friends in school, we were always listening to the news because I had really wonderful teachers that would keep us abreast of current news. And we always had to, on Fridays, no matter what grade it was, we had to talk about something interesting in the news. And if Queen Elizabeth had something to share, then of course it was a real highlight to talk about. And how exciting for us to be able to learn straight from the mouth of the Queen. I can't even imagine that you would be blessed to be, a grandchild of hers and have her tell you the real history. I would just be like this all the time, like never open my mouth, just tell me more. So they're blessed to have such a beautiful leader. And I think it makes us in the USA proud that our heritage is from there, and that we might have this tiny snippet connected. And I hope the UK is as proud to be connected to us as I know I am to be connected to them.
And you bring up the Queen and what an incredible reign she has. And I believe she's celebrating, is it 70 years in June?
I believe that's so. So can you imagine that? What a responsibility to take on at such a young age. I think she had just gotten married when she took over the reins. And of course, there's so much to that. We have to remember they're human beings and they have feelings, right? And so, you're just young, you're in love, and it's just so wonderful. And then all of a sudden you find out your daddy dies, and yes, he's king, but he's also your daddy, right? And what a huge loss. And then all of a sudden you have thrown on top of all that, now you're going to be queen. I just, I can't even imagine everything spinning around in her head. And I know I'm talking from a personal level, but that's how I like to see people. I like to see people and remind them that remind myself, no matter what their job is, that they're human beings and we need to respect that. And wow, she has her dad and mom must be smiling from heaven, especially her daddy, because she has done the country proud for sure. At least my humble opinion.
Yes, and I agree with you. And I watched that series called The Crown,
Oh,
and
yes.
just the way that they portrayed when her father died, and the fact that
Mhm.
she was now taking over the throne, and the sacrifices that
Yeah.
had to be made and that continuously have to be made are things that
Mhm.
I don't know that people think about on a regular basis.
Right. No, that was a wonderful show, wasn't it? And I think they had a bit, we can ask Ian and them, say so to make sure it followed history as closely as possible. But yes, what a sacrifice. And how many of us are really willing to make those sacrifices, because there's a lot of duty to it. So yeah, people can say, oh my gosh, they have it so easy, they get a palace, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you try to wear their shoes, there's no privacy. Right? So I think I would be the protective person over them all the time. Get away, she needs her privacy.
And of course, the queen has certainly seen her share of drama, right, within the family, even in the
Yeah.
last couple of years, and it
Mhm.
continues on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wonder what it must be like to be in that position, that not only do you have these royal duties that you
Mhm.
have, but your people are looking to you, and then you have controversy in your own family that you have to deal with.
Mhm. That's right. And it just shows you that nobody's, family's perfect. There's always family drama, right?
Absolutely,
Always family
yes.
drama. So,
There is. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to actually watch a clip that is one of my favorites. You and I have seen this before, about the royal horses and how they take them out to exercise them, which I think is so interesting, isn't it? And they're so beautiful, and their coats are so shiny.
it's incredible. Yay. I love this
Yeah.
commercial.
All right, let's take a look, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you. have really been impacted because of the pandemic, because they weren't able to go and perform in person. Then they could go in person. Then it wasn't certain if they were going to be able to continue performing. But there's been a lot of news about some new shows and the Sound of Music. What do you know about this?
Well, yay, Broadway and the West End are opening back. I'm so excited. And I was reading just yesterday, trying to get caught up on some things over there of how they're coming back, but also maybe they're not coming in full force with all the dancers and so forth. So they're still being very protective, and wisely so, correct? As far as the Sound of Music, I'm excited to tell you that a good friend of mine who's a West End star, Margaret Priest, is going to be Mother Abbess in the Sound of Music coming in the spring. And it's a USA/UK international traveling show. So how exciting is that?
Wow, that is exciting. So what does your friend have to say about it? What are her thoughts?
She's thrilled because it's been very difficult for all of them. You know, when you when you make your living singing and being on stage, it's difficult. But when you just absolutely love it and you embrace it and you live for the audience, and then all of a sudden there's nothing, it's very difficult. And you're so closed in. You know, COVID made it very difficult for us. Some of the West End stars that I know, they all got together, and you probably saw for a while they all came in and did some wonderful things, some songs together and on Zoom, and you saw them all singing and things like that to kind of bring some family togetherness as actors, and that was pretty cool. But Margaret, I was in 2 Sound of Music shows with her in Dubai. And so I know firsthand that she is an incredible Mother Abbess. And backstage or in dress rehearsals, she's just a fun person to be with. I remember when, and hopefully she's going to be in the show one day, and I'll probably repeat myself because I remember when she first came in, we had the chorus, we had all been practicing and so forth before the stars arrived. And it was time now for Mother Abbess to come in and see how we were going to do with her. And we all wondered, you know, what her personality was like. And she just came in dancing and full of life. And you're like, oh my God, we're going to love her. And she was just a blast to be with.
What role did you have in The Sound of Music?
Oh, I was in the chorus. So.
Okay.
Oh, I did have this one really fun spot. How could I forget? Because I loved it. I really hemmed it up. So in The Sound of Music, you know, when they're planning on, you know, they're singing So Long Farewell. And so there's a contest going on. And so this opera singer comes out, right? And I made myself super fat, big, busty, you know, like you would think, you know, that old-fashioned image of an opera singer, and had my hair all up. Anyway, I played that role and truly hemmed it up. Matter of fact, one day I'll tell you about how my wig fell off on stage. It was hysterical. It was hysterical, but I handled it so well. The director, John Payton, he's like, could you do that again tomorrow? And I'm like, no.
It is amazing how when you're live or you're performing and things happen, and as the expression, the show must go on, right?
Right. You just cannot lose your character. You have to keep going.
Because many times the audience doesn't know what's real and what's not. You know, you just you're there to entertain and perform. So
right.
I do want to play a clip of someone from the show. She's been on a number of times. Her name is Frederica Crum, and she's a mezzo soprano. And we have a beautiful clip of her at Royal Albert Hall. So I'd love to just play this, and then we'll talk about it.
Began to dance with me. I could have
that, don't you?
I have chills. First of
I
all,
know, I have tears.
the voice. She was a songbird for sure, but wow, what notes. That was from My Fair Lady. That's a fun musical to be in as well.
I just watched that movie last week for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But Frederica is so talented, and she's also very, very intelligent. She's really an incredible person all around. So I'm glad we were able to share that clip. And I've got great news. We've been talking about them throughout the show, but our guests are backstage, Helena, Chard, and Ian Turner. And I think it's a great time to bring them on because
Please.
Frederica was actually introduced to our platform through them. So let's welcome them to the program. Hi, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hi, nice to see you both.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to meet you, Diann.
Are you wearing stars and stripes?
Yes, we are. We've got star bracelets and
red, white, and blue here. And it's lovely to meet you too. I've watched you on the earlier shows, and it's a true honor to meet you guys. Truly it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you as well.
I think the reality is we tried to go all American this afternoon because, as you can see, we're in our version of the White House.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, we've been talking a lot about you, and just thanking you so much for all the people that you've introduced to this platform and to me, since we started. And we've got a big following over there in the United Kingdom, and it's really because of the two of you. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Bless you.
It's great. It's a great platform you've designed. It's really, fantastic. It's what everyone needs as well. Empowerment. That's what you do, Dr. Jacalyn.
Well, thank you. And I was saying that on our earlier show, which is the art of mental health wealth. We had Janetta Barry on. She's over in East Africa. And we had Susie Nathanson on, and she was sharing her latest work with us. So thank you to the two of you again for those introductions.
Fantastic.
Well,
we're really pleased. They're all great people, aren't they?
Yeah.
So much love, knowledge to share.
They really are. So we were talking about the news and the fascination about the royal family. We didn't get into any specific stories, but we were also talking about the Queen, and she's got a big celebration coming up. So I'm going to spotlight you guys to share with us what's the latest and greatest over there.
Well, it's words don't normally fail me. At the moment, we've got fireworks going on in London, and I think Helena will explain some of the things that are going on right now.
Well, I mean, from a royal perspective, I think we'll begin with that. In fact, no, let's start with the political aspect, because that's sort of a bit short-lived. So, as you obviously, I would imagine, know Boris Johnson, and at the moment he's been very naughty, and there's lots of fireworks going on because obviously they're a party that's leading us all, and I mean, I sort of call it the big boys club because they normally all come from Eton, and they actually do what they want to do. So obviously, when everyone was isolating because of COVID, it seems that Boris and the party were having parties at number 10, which is obviously not good, really, really bad. Anyway, the short and long of it all, Davis has just announced, breaking news, he's an ex-cabinet Tory minister, basically demanding for BJ, as we call him, Boris Johnson, maybe BJ is not the right thing, Boris Johnson.
I like BJ.
To resign, and his exact words are, in the name of God, go. So this is what we heard recently. So that's from a political point of view. We obviously are going to skate over, I think, the Prince Andrew situation. We're all very glad for Her Majesty, the Queen, who has her great celebration. So on the 6th of February, she'll be the first British monarch to reach 70 years of service to the UK and the Commonwealth, which is just phenomenal. I mean, she hasn't put a foot wrong. She is amazing. And we all feel so sad, that obviously the Prince Andrew, people are running with the media. Everything's just going mad over here. We've got programmes with terrible names and things, and it saddens us. But, we have to let that run its course. Mm-hmm. she's still doing well. There's lots of other royal things as well. I think I would say that the Duchess of Cambridge is really saving the year over here. Everyone's wanting to see her and loving her, and she's, you know, whether it's her clothes, etc. I know that recently they were both where were they? They recently attended the Foundling Museum. I think this was yesterday. So that's the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and the Duchess of Cambridge is a patron of the Foundling, and it's very much to do with, quite interesting. In fact, it's similar to your previous show, Dr. Jacalyn, where it's using the arts to help people with mental health, really. But it's designed to really help people who have been on the streets and various things. So lots of people give their time and mentor, and that's what the whole foundation is about. So that's a little bit of a snippet of what's been going on. I mean, there's a huge amount more as well. Have you got more to add to it, this?
Well, I mean, there's so many euphemisms being used at the moment. So our Prime Minister is now euphemistically called Big Dog. And there's a campaign to save Big Dog. And what they intend to do, what the cabinet intend to do, is throw out red meat storylines that they hope will take away from Big Dog's really disposal by the British people and by the cabinet at the same time. So that's one euphemism. The euphemism with Prince Andrew, it comes from quite a famous movie called The Prince and the Pauper.
Oh, yes. I know that one.
And the reality soon is that he may be actually, because he's having to sell, I mean, we're all in tears over here, as you can imagine. He's having to sell his Swiss chalet worth 17.4 million.
Oh, poor baby.
so that he can pay, allegedly, this lady in America who apparently, allegedly, he had a relationship with when she was 17. We are hearing that she's demanding almost $16 million, 12 million pounds, really to go away.
Oh my gosh.
Now, wasn't she, and again, allegedly, we were just watching the Netflix series about this whole thing, but wasn't she already in receipt of some type of payment?
She's received payments in the past of $500,000 from Epstein. But apparently there was an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement on this as well, that has now been disclosed. And so the Andrew legal team tried to say that within that £500,000, any repercussions concerning himself would also be included in that £500,000. Now they are saying that this is not the case. An American judge has ruled that he is not part of that first settlement. And so right now, really, I have a slightly different feeling to Helena, I think, on this. I don't think Prince Andrew should have been ostracized from the royal family. And the reason why I say that is that in reality, they've done it for continuity purposes. In other words, nothing actually goes against the brand of the royal family. But he was allegedly an existing member of the royal family when these allegations happened. Now, for me, the royal family have to stand up and so say and apologize for this as well, if this is the case.
I don't think you can judge. I really don't. I think we just have to leave things as they are. And also, you know, he's had his military titles taken away. He's still Prince Andrew at the end of the day. Let's see what happens.
Well, you know what question I have is, and Diann was talking about this earlier, just the Queen is a person, right? She is a mother. She's many things. So in making the decision, we can't judge. But how do you make that decision? Do you make it as the monarch or the mother? You know, I couldn't do it. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? Because it is her,
Her son.
yeah, it's her son, it's her family.
I know that Prince Andrew as well. I mean, she's got a soft spot for him. She always has done, carrying his picture in her purse and various things. But I think she's hung on for as long as possible and hoped. I think everybody hoped that the ruling would be that the non-disclosure form that was signed would almost would halt things, but that's not happened. And I think I don't think Her Majesty really had a choice. But on the side, she'll be absolutely heartbroken. I mean, there's so much going on in our world, and she's obviously lost the love of her life not that long ago. And it must be, and in fact, lots of her very close friends recently. So she must be I can't imagine how she's feeling. But we're for her. She's obviously got her special celebration. We've got our special celebration this year, which has already started. And I think that's being drummed into the media because there's such negative news, in fact, isn't there, on the whole? But we're all happy. The celebrations have kicked off. Dr. Jacalyn, I think your website was launched on the day that I think it was the first little sign of the platinum celebrations. It was the actual platinum pudding competition.
Oh my!
Now it sounds funny, but it's been launched with Fortnum and Masons, and everyone here from the age of, I don't know what age, I think from the age of 8 on. So it's a family affair. Everyone's trying to make the best dessert, which is going to be then rolled out during the celebrations. And people will cook, at home. So it's like everybody can join in. I don't know, it's something simple, unfussy and joyful. This is the cake that they're looking for. But it was, on that special day. So that's great. And we've got so much to look forward to.
And I'm hoping to be one of the judges.
I love that.
I love how we went back to talking about the positive, and we all need that this time and now. But how exciting to pudding! I think it would be fun if maybe we, all of us at home, make our own puddings, and then we come in on our show, all 4 of us, and talk about our puddings in honor of the Queen. How much fun would that be?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, gosh, Ian, he would love that. He's got the sweetest teeth I know.
And if I have to go through 10,000 puddings to make the decision, I have to do it. Some the waistline of the Queen and the royal family, and I'm going to put myself out there as a taster.
I love it.
Lovely.
I want to ask you guys, what's going on over there in terms of tourism? Do you see, are people able to travel and is tourism picking up?
Well, we're working on you at the moment.
Well, yay.
Yeah. So I think the reality at the moment is tourism is still on its knees over here. I think special grants are going to have to be given by the government again, because in reality, hospitality right across Britain is totally suffering at the moment.
I bet.
Tourism, I noticed that when I visit Oxford Street, which is our largest retail street, I think in the world actually.
I love Oxford Street, by the way.
So it's deserted.
Oh no!
And in fact, you may know, because it's an American startup, isn't it? Selfridges.
Mm-hmm.
Selfridges is up for sale.
Whoa!
Because I think in reality, a large opportunities at the moment to actually bring visitors back. They're talking at the end of this month that all regulations will stop. What that means, I don't know at the moment on who will be allowed back into the country again. Mm-hmm. But I think the reality at the moment is that we want you back.
We do.
And we want you guys.
Yes.
For God's sakes, come back.
I love Oxford Street. What a great shopping area. My daughter, Catherine, and I, we had blast many times there.
And I think, you know, the realities at the moment, both Helen and I mean, we are proud British. You
Should
know?
be.
And the reality is that we want to see Britain thriving again. We want to see young people at work. We want to see the great cultures and history that we had talked about again. And we want the USA citizens to come back in their millions.
And we love you. I'm going to be actually, Dr. Jacalyn, I just found out today, so I'll be invited to a British school via Zoom in Dubai. And I will say, after, I don't know if you guys knew, I lived there for 15 years. So I did a lot in the British schools there in Saudi Arabia. And one of the things I love in the British schools there, much like in American schools, is how much they teach to be proud to be British. And I love that, because I think you should be very proud of your family history and your country. But I think globally, the whole world is grateful to Britain in the ways throughout the centuries has helped us to unite, especially with the English language. And so anyway, I talk about my proud British heritage very much.
Yeah, I hear you have a bit of Scottish in you, I think. Is it Scottish?
Is that, yeah, I do. Scottish, Wales, Irish, and England.
Yeah.
I'm a mixture.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you, Helena and Ian, we were talking, Diann and I, earlier in the show about the West End, and we played a clip of Frederica Crumb, which she's so magnificent. What's going on there? Are people getting back out to go to shows?
Yeah, I mean, they are. It's obviously not quite the same. And I know that, I think we've still got the work at home situation with COVID, but that's going to be dropped. And I think the COVID passport, getting into clubs and certain big places, is going to be dropped as well. So slowly, I think at the end of this month, more people will be in the theatres, etc. I do know friends of mine were at a very good showing of Cabaret, which is showing at the moment.
I love Cabaret.
But it's, what's his name? Oh goodness, I've forgotten his name all of a sudden. Can't think. Great actor anyway, but it was supersonic, really great. So everyone's so thankful, because the one thing that you see when you come, especially to London, is amazing performances. So it's on its way up, and we just can't wait, because obviously then that means more people in the restaurants and hotels, and it slowly will get there. That I know. And
I think with the theatres at the moment, it's the year of the understudies. Because the reality is that obviously on any as well, and so many premium stars in London's West End especially have caught COVID and are having to isolate because of that. And so this is bringing up a new generation of very great talent, but they're understudies who are now becoming studies in their own right. So it's that silver background cloud that in reality now is allowing new, fresh, young talent to come through at the same time. So it has values as well.
And is that called passing of the torch, sort of?
I see that.
Yeah. And by the way, when we're talking about performing, I showed this earlier today, but Susie did this digital portrait of a friend of ours, and I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yes, that's amazing, isn't it? She's so clever. Susie's so clever. How does she do it? And
absolutely.
It's just like a photograph.
Even more amazing, how did he do it? I know.
I saw him the other day.
We bumped into him the other night. I mean, that's eye-watering, I have to sort of say. For a man of my age, and he's not that far behind me. How he does these things, I do not know.
So funny. Well, I also wanted to have you guys talk a little bit about the work that you're doing outside of this platform. Obviously, you have a ton of things going on. You're helping people all the time. I know you're setting up, you have a new setup to help people who are interested in making film or TV. So I'd love to just have you share more about that. And also, Helena, the work that you're doing as in casting.
So, well, I'm just talking about, we're working with a TV studio, a film studio in North London. And really the crux of what we're offering is value production services. My passion is really to help entrepreneurs basically get their brands out there, visibility, and obviously using the studio as a way of propelling them and lots of other people. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurs, it could be the everyday person as well. But it's a great service, and obviously it's great as well to be able to use the studio to get out of broadcasting. And as you know, we work with lots of broadcasters across the world, so it's all knits really well. Also with yourself, Dr. Jacalyn. So we're very excited about it. It's sort of, there's still things, there's teething problems like with everything. So it's still growing, but it's exciting stuff. I think Ian, you maybe have something to add.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about teething troubles. We were recording our first promo yesterday.
Yeah.
Now we thought this would be quite easy to do. I would say by now we're pretty good at what we do. You know, we 3 hours this took yesterday, so it just goes to show at times that we still have things to learn. But I think the 4 pillars of what we're trying to do this year is to work with communities, to work with tourism, to work with young people, and charities as well. They're the sort of the pillars, and businesses. They're the pillars that we want to work with in Britain, and hopefully give them an international platform to grow. You know, and we're in talks with different people. We may even be doing something with CNN. We're looking at that at the moment. So, you know, basically right now, it's in its early stages. The good thing is that we can actually offer very inexpensive opportunities for people to come and see us, to film with us, and to create the dialogues and the values that they want to promote across the world.
That's excellent. Congratulations on that. We did talk a little bit on our launch party show about the future of broadcasting and what that looks like. Is it streaming? Is it network that we know? And I think you were saying that there's some kind of combination, or I know you met with someone in California. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
It's really what we look at, what I personally look at, because Helena obviously has her own thoughts on it as well. So I've been looking at a project called Spectrum, based in Los Angeles. There's now being highlighted as the new OTT system going across America. And really it's designed for niche opportunities to actually have their own TV channels. And so it's something that we've looked at. I think, you know, with us, it would work very well when we're working with charities, for example, and with businesses. But I think, you know, with the style of work that Helena does, and helping people, and especially working with, I think, mental health issues as well, it's going to be another great way of actually getting a message out globally. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I do, apart from this, other things I do, and they all knit in incredibly well. I help artists, as in performing artists, secure bookings. And in fact, without realising it, for years and years, I've sort of mentored a lot of the artists as well. So that's really good. I work with lots of organisations, single people, and also organisations as well, reference mental health, and help in lots of different ways. And it's really fabulous to propel people and get these organisations that work tirelessly to help people onto a platform. As we know, especially with the COVID situation, anxiety, especially within children and really everyone, is sky high. There's things being launched all the time. In fact, the NHS the other day has launched something which is to get people to talk more, to take advantage of the talking therapies, and it's they've used the Beatles song "Help." This was launched, I think, 2 days ago, to really get everyone talking again, and it's something I'm incredibly passionate about. But that's something I do. But I know, Dr. Jacalyn, you mentioned something as well, which is very true, that people want to be able to access programming when they want to see it, when they want it, not just when, like BBC's British Broadcasting Services would put it out. So traditional formats has changed considerably, and I think it's going to continue moving. So that's my thoughts.
And apparently we've passed Blue Monday.
Yeah.
What's that?
Blue Monday, apparently, well, Helena can explain more. I couldn't believe it, but apparently this is the most depressed day, or the most depressing day in the whole of the year. So it's like, have a waiting for the more sunshine coming into
More
Britain.
sunshine, yeah.
Blue Monday is I've never heard of it, but Helena may explain it a bit more.
I think Blue Monday, in all honesty, I think is a little bit of a myth. I think it's something that a scientist came up with years and years ago, and then everyone grabbed it and ran with it. But it's sort of supposed to be the day where everyone feels the most depressed in a way. But I think it's something like the third Monday in January. If you work it out, it's cold. People have moved on from celebrations. People's credit cards, bills are
coming in.
So those things make everyone feel sad. But I have to say, personally, myself, I was exhausted. I was so tired myself, and I thought, my goodness, maybe it's real. I think also on that evening it was the new moon, so there may be something going on.
Oh yeah, it's called the wolf moon as well. As soon as I heard this, I hid under the duvet for the rest of the day.
One of those days. It's tiring, isn't it?
So Blue Monday has been passed in Britain now. So now we're on the way back. Yay!
Yay! That's awesome. I love it. We were talking earlier today about on the other show with Janetta about how the arts really help people when you have depression or you're going through something. And Susie was describing how she did her work. She was going through some challenging times and she put it in this digital portrait. And so you're talking about helping people bring awareness for people struggling with mental health issues and working with charities. How do you feel that broadcasting or being part of a broadcasting platform program, creating film, documentaries, et cetera, how do you think that helps somebody with mental health wellness?
I think singularly, or as an organization, are we talking about singularly, people in general?
Yes, just in general, yes.
I personally think that, it's empowering. And one of the things that I think organisations like yourself, in a way, Dr. Jacalyn, can bring is healthy habits. And it's the most powerful tool, really, that you can give anybody. So giving them a platform, giving people a platform to be able to speak and talk and to feel part of something and to communicate. And one of the biggest things that's happened, this is way before the pandemic, but even more so because of the pandemic, is loneliness. So to be able to have contact, whether it's via, as we're talking now, which is fantastic, it's just so beneficial to people. And this is like, we could talk for hours about it. I think it's fantastic for people to be able to talk and to share things and to feel part of things.
And apparently we have the most colourful woman in the world. Now, she's an artist and she's rainbow colours. And she's created this exhibition that is such bright colours that when people walk into this exhibition, they feel happier. And apparently it's one of the things that's been seen now, that bright colours can actually create happiness. So I don't know what. So as you can see, I wore my yellow tie today. So
I've got gold. On. That's my colour.
We're trying to exude happiness at the moment.
Well, Well, you know something, I really think. Oh, sorry, Diann, have you on mute?
Okay. It's really true because so my background is education. I was a primary teacher and then moved on up to higher grades. But primary colors, you always made sure you had them in your classroom so that when the kids came in, that it exuded happiness. And then, as you probably know, as parents, you put primary colors in your newborn nursery and so forth. So I concur completely that primary colors bring happiness. Yay! What's y'all's favorite primary color?
Oh, no. What does it mean? What colour do I love? I love red, actually.
Oh, me too.
I like red too.
I'm a blue girl.
You know, something I wanted to mention in alignment with what you said, Helena. You know, we had a show with Hardy Bry. You know, Hardy, we met him through you. And one of the things that really came out about mental health is that people struggle in silence and in shame. And when you are able to channel that through a platform or through a film or a book or a documentary or a painting, you realize you're not alone. Hardy posted something about his son Isham and himself on LinkedIn, and it went viral because all these parents have been living in silence and shame with their own journey. So that's why I feel like what you're doing is so important.
And I think, I mean, Helena saved me in a lot of ways. That you know, I talk about. I went through a very bad time in my life, and at the end of that period, Helena was there to really give me the support and the love and the help to actually come back to life again. So the thing I had to learn was that in my previous life, when I was married, I was the rock. And so any financial problems anybody had, any issues at all, they could come to me and I could just solve them. And I think I had to learn to reach out. And what Helena did was give me the support mechanism and, you know, the opportunities to find myself again. So we're not only, you know, broadcasters, we're great friends, I think, as well.
You know, thank you so much for sharing that because there are times in your life that you remember who stood up for you, right? Who was there to help pick you up and help you pull yourself back together. So that's really beautiful. And we do have a comment from the lovely mayor. Fantastic as always. Well done. Thank you for watching.
We need to see Claire again soon.
That's great.
So another question I have for the two of you, you know, I spend most of my time behind this green screen, right? So I'm not actually meeting with people in person, but yet you have the ability to, in London where you are, you actually meet with a lot of people face to face, right?
Absolutely. You know, I was just saying to Helena that normally I try to get here about 45 minutes before we're due to go on. And today I was rushing because I must admit I had a lazy morning this morning. And then I was watching what was going on in Parliament because I'm a political commentator as well. So come 1 o'clock our time, I thought, well, now is the time to get dressed, to get ready. The phone became red hot. And I was trying to take a shower, and the phone is ringing, you know, and it's all these important people, and someone is ringing me up from Africa, for goodness sake, and I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? So you're quite right. We do meet people all the time, and you know, I mean, through the different contacts that we have as well.
But we still have to stay safe. So we've still got our masks and you know, gel and various things. So it still continues. But yeah, we do get out.
But I have to think that, I mean, from someone who's living in sort of an isolated way, it's got to be really so good for your health, heart and physical health, to actually see people in person and connect that way.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Gosh, I'm thinking as well about children, you know, who've been affected hugely. I mean, the rate of anxiety is sky high. In fact, anxiety has been named Children's Word of the Year, sorry, not World of the Year, if you can imagine. I think something like 2 in 5 children, that's the thing that they think about through the pandemic is anxiety, and there's just such a lot of self-harm, and I mean it's huge, and the amount of support that everyone needs to give. So I think that, you know, the socializing side of things, and trying to combat loneliness is probably one of the biggest things I think people's working towards at the moment. And in fact, I think loneliness, I think is it Mental Health Week that's coming up. It's actually, no, there's Children's Mental Health Week, funny enough, which is the day, which begins on the 7th of February, which is the day after Her Majesty the Queen's, obviously 70 years celebration. But loneliness is, it's the theme of everything this year. I think that's.
And I think it's so important to go. I'm a people person. You know, the reason why I became started off as a photographer, then a journalist, and now a broadcaster is I love people. You know, I find people fascinating. I'm talking to 3 fascinating ladies this afternoon. I love it.
Such a charmer, isn't it? Such a charmer.
So charming.
Yeah.
We can't wait for you to come over, then we can meet you in person. But you know, the strangest thing was that during 2020, because I was a broadcaster as well, I was doing 5 shows a week at that time, and they were all via Skype into different channels from the flat. And the reality is, I can't remember 2020. It's really strange. You know, I knew that I was working through 2020, but I can't remember 2020. And I say to people that, you know, when we met last year or the year before, and I said, no, we haven't met since 2019. And 2020 seems to have disappeared from my memory bank more than anything as well. And I think that was really down to mentally, in some ways, perhaps I closed down in order to get through that period.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I was just thinking that I retired last year. It's like, no, that was 2 years ago. Like that was in like it just disappeared. A whole year just seemed to, and I think it affected all of us in different ways. And Helena, to your point about loneliness, I remember somebody said to me, you can be lonely in a crowd.
This is true.
So even though you're surrounded by other people, you still feel alone. And I'm hoping with the work that all of us that we're doing, that we're helping to change that. So people realize you don't have to be alone. You don't have to live in silence with your story, that other people have traveled a similar path and people want to hear what you're going through.
Absolutely. And I think big cities around the world can be very lonely places for people as well. I think you're absolutely right. London, we talk about London for people coming into London. It can be a very, very lonely place for them as well. And that's why, personally, I love going out and meeting people, telling them the values that they really have in life, really bringing up their confidence more than anything, and talking, because, you know, for me, working with communities is so important. It really is, and to actually, you know, I adore all communities. I adore all women, I have to be honest as well. So it works in both ways.
I love that. And I think you and I are kindred spirits, because I absolutely love people and I need to be with people. And so I'm from Texas, and we stayed open pretty much, and you probably either like it or don't, but anyway, we were very fortunate to we had a time where the restaurants closed and all that, but eventually we were one of the first states to open back up, though we are still being, many of us, very cautious, especially me, because I want to make sure that I protect my friends. But if I'm not around people, or knowing that people need me, or how can I connect you, or how can I help you, etc., then I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not helping the world. So it's very important.
Well, the next time we talk to each other, then I expect you to wear a 10-gallon hat. We always We all think Texans. We watch Dallas. We know what it's all about. Where's the telling that?
Well, when there was a time I was Miss Radio Queen, but I don't have that hat anymore.
You know, something I want to share between the three of you. So, Ian, Helena, you know how many people I've met because of the two of you. What you might not know is I've met a ton of people also through Diann, which this is kind of a crazy story. But when I was actually doing television in a studio, a small studio in New Jersey, there was a woman who called in for a 10-minute hot topic. I reached out to her, invited her onto what was Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. She couldn't make it. And I asked her to refer me to somebody, and she referred me to Diann. And we had a Zoom call, got along so well. And from there, Diann introduced me to this person, that person. So between the three of you, I think your heads are going to be spinning with all the connections you're going to be sharing.
You know, we're all good talkers. We're all good talkers.
Well, I think that's what it's all about, connecting each other and bringing people forth. So before we close out, I see we're actually over our time. Can you share with our audience, Helena and Ian, where can people watch you and how can they get in touch with you to be part of this new initiative that you have?
I think these will happen shortly because basically at the moment we're in the early stages of creating our own projects. So we're hoping that we'll have a Sky production that goes out on Freeview as well in UK. Obviously, you know, projects like yourself in America, we love at the same time. And I think really this year, who knows? Because you know, you never know when things are going to happen. Have I got time for a very quick story?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, very quick story is that I've learned now, don't keep my mobile on at night. And I twice recently, I've been woken up about 3 o'clock in the morning by messages. And I'm looking at this message with one eye because the other eye is still closed. And all I can see is the message London Bridge. Well, London Bridge is a euphemism for the Queen has sadly died. And so the very first time I saw this, you've got to bear in mind that the bedroom is in complete darkness as well. I leap out of bed and I'm trying to find the light switch and I'm thinking, don't panic, the Queen has died, don't panic. The reality with all these things is that with the type of work that Helen and I do, because you know we're, I suppose, thank goodness, we're seen to as perhaps the go-to people for things like royal events. We're never quite sure what's going to happen next, you know, with these circles. But we value being able to support Britain to talk about issues, the same issues that we've talked about this afternoon. And we just love arguing with each other on global television.
I was just saying, because Ian was talking about London Bridge, I was contacted by Sky and they said Mrs. Robinson. So I wonder.
I think that might be to do with Prince Andrew.
Oh no, we circled back around.
Oh my goodness. Can you let our audience know, just putting you on the spot a little bit, you'll be regulars here and we can look forward to having you come back and see us.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. We'll try and do as regularly as possible. We've got commitments, but we'll try and do this as regularly. We love you.
Oh, we love you too. Well, we are actually going to sign off because we have our fashion, travel, and fitness show that already started. So
the good thing your co-host is in town.
I know, you're right. Diann and I are doing this show, but we're going to talk about the benefits of trampolining. So that's
I've not done it for ages, but I love it. Oh,
it's fantastic. Well, by the way, I just want to share as we sign off that I am starting a fitness show. And Helena or Ian, if you're interested, Diann, I didn't hear back from you. I don't know if you're interested or not, but we're going to have 8 to 10 people on the show, and we're going to do fitness in our home with using our own body weight and things around the house.
Oh, I
Wow.
love
Okay, well,
That's amazing. I mean, you know, that just is so lovely, because I was talking about empowering your organisation, and doing that exactly is what it's all about. Giving the tools to people. It's
Definitely.
great.
There's so much you can do with your own body, even planks, different things with your body weight that you don't have to go to a gym. And if let's say you're living a sedentary life, you can go from sedentary to stupendous just there in your own home.
using the wall.
Exactly.
Unless you're visiting the Queen and you find out you push the mirror and it opens up, according to one of your shows.
No, that's good.
Yes, you did share that on one of the shows, so that's great.
It's been
But
lovely.
I'll spotlight you guys for any final words you want to share for this week.
Oh gosh, do you know, I just want, we've had the pandemic, etc., and I just feel that we should all we want joy. We want joy. You can find joy in the smallest of things, and I think this is what keeps the world going round. Be kind, find joy, and this has been great fun. Thank you.
yeah, and I think don't give up on Britain. We're coming back. We're roaring back.
We're here for you. Yay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Jacalyn, Diann.
Diann, quickly, how can people reach you?
Yes. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You can reach me at diannfloydboehm.com, DIANN FLOYD, B as in boy, OEHM.com. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to sign off, and you'll see us back in probably 3 minutes in a different outfit. So bye. Thank you, Helen and Ian. See you later.